The Kid Larroi Dine Dash scandal left him leaving a $2,500 tip. The Kid Larroi is by no means selfish. TMZ reported on Thursday that the rapper's team contacted the Missouri restaurant to rectify the situation after the rapper was alleged to have left his waiter with nothing after dining and dashing at the establishment. The publication claims that the Australian singer's security team was supposed to start paying for his meal at Dublin's Pass Irish pub and restaurant, but they somehow forgot to pay before he left. The headlines about the Dine and Dash incident reportedly prompted Larroi's team to contact the restaurant to pay the $133.58 bill. Moreover, they likewise tipped their server Monique $2,500. TMZ initially revealed that the cafe's chief Faldim said that the Remain rapper left his server with a triple-digit bill. The 19-year-old rapper performed at the Great Southern Bank Arena prior night, making a beeline for the diner with a couple of his buddies. Laroi was displayed to his table in a confidential room as he posed for pictures with fans and was well disposed to staff and individual cafes. The gathering before long added to the bill, requesting 2 cheeseburgers, chicken wings, 3 sets of mac and cheese, a serving of mixed greens, and 2 brownies, taking incessant smoke breaks outside all throughout the night. That explains the amount of food they ordered. The gathering, notwithstanding, guaranteed their server they weren't leaving. Yet not long after the server returned, they found out Laroi and his party had dashed from the spot. Gray acknowledged that the rapper might have made an honest mistake. The administrator likewise said that no tips were left for the waiter that evening. Page 6 has sought clarification from the rapper's representatives. During his performance at Coachella the previous month, the Love Again rapper expressed his gratitude to Justin Bieber for agreeing to collaborate with him in 2021. During his set, Laroi credited the Canadian artist for changing his effing life by giving him vocals to the track. In his words, "Justin, thank you for changing my effing life, bro." Laroi told a sea of screaming fans, "You're such a special human being. I love you and I've got you forever, bro. Thank you for being not only an incredible musician and collaborator, but thank you for being my effing friend, man." He added before continuing on with his set. The Kid Larroi has collaborated with Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber, set a chart record in Australia, reached the top 10 in more than a dozen countries, signed a huge global deal with Sony Publishing, and won Breakthrough Songwriter of the Year at the APRA Awards in Sydney. All of this occurred prior to his 18th birthday. The Kid Larroi is one of the quickest rising music stars on the planet. He and his mother were couch surfing and struggling to make ends meet just a few years before he broke out into the industry. He currently resides in LA and has more than 1 billion streams across various music platforms. He is practically the definition of what a young music star should look like in 2021 due to his social media savvy, honesty about mental health issues, versatility across genres, and global reach. Here's where the Kid Larroi came from and where he's going. The Kid Larroi was born into a middle-class family in Sydney, but when his parents divorced, his childhood was chaotic. Larroi has said in interviews that him and his mom some of the time lived hand-to-mouth as his mom offered medications to squeeze by. His uncle passed away in 2015 after being kicked out due to noise complaints, leaving him and his mother in project housing in Sydney's inner city suburb of Redfern. However, they were forced to move around between friends' houses for a while. Larroi began recording verses on his mother's iPhone during all of this turmoil before moving into a studio and uploading his music to SoundCloud and social media platforms. He quickly established a devoted following both in Sydney and overseas. The hip-hop podcast No Jumper shot a documentary about Larroi in 2019 in which ecstatic children followed him through Redfern's streets. That very year, his music grabbed the eye of rapper and grade A creations leader Lil Baby, who marked him in a joint arrangement with Columbia Records. Juice WRLD, the hugely successful emo rapper and SoundCloud artist at the forefront of a new wave of melodic hip-hop artists, had been signed by Lil Baby 2 years earlier. Laroi was also embracing similar sounds more and more. He said that Kanye West's 808s and Heartbreak was his favorite album, and it was fitting that Baby had him open for a Juice WRLD tour in Australia. That marked the beginning of their relationship as mentors. Laroi spent several months in LA with Juice WRLD, where he closely observed his elder performing in the studio at breakneck speed. However, Juice WRLD passed away in December 2019, and Kid Larroi told Hot New Hip Hop, "I learned a lot from him." Laroi was working on his debut album at the time of Juice WRLD's passing, and he chose to make the collection's lead single Go, which highlighted a stanza from Juice WRLD recorded the past August. On Spotify, the song currently has 238 million streams, probably more now. The Kid Larroi's album F Love was delivered in July 2022 and puts forth no attempt to avoid the aggravation and awfulness of his past. Laroi sings about how Juice WRLD's passing away affected his mental state in Tell Me Why. In his words, "I had so many sleepless nights and so many tears, and I watched all of my idols pass away right in front of my eyes." The collection specifically follows a separation, with Laroi thinking back remorsefully on his and an accomplice's errors. A generation of hip-hop fans who are weaned on the depressive musings of artists like Juice WRLD and Lil Uzi Vert are familiar with this kind of gloomy subject matter. The song's wistful guitars, big hooks, and intricate trap production allowed it to immediately slide onto prime playlists on streaming platforms and the rap radio. On Spotify, the album has been streamed over 1.6 million times. His melodies have been added to 485 Spotify publication playlists and very nearly 20 million user-produced playlists as indicated by a Spotify delegate. In the meantime, Laroi has successfully courted a TikTok audience that overlaps and is rapidly expanding. Knowing that a song's virality on that platform is crucial to its overall success. He uploaded a few bars of an unfinished song that he had recorded and named Addison Rae TikTok's Queen Bee. In no time, Rae posted herself and her mom responding to the video, which immediately piled up 10 million views and made a huge number of different users emulate themselves, chiming into the clasp. Only half a month after the fact, Drake would take a similar tack with Tootsie Slide, making a dance challenge to the tune before it was even out. While Laroi is as of now piling up numbers to make even a portion of the world's greatest stars desirous, he hasn't totally abandoned his underlying foundations. He frequently makes it a point to talk about and represent his community and country. His name is a reference to his native legacy, Camille Laroi, his mom. He is showing black kids back home that they can do anything. Native Undertakings columnist Madeline Heyman-Reber told the Red Bull Music Foundation last year. Laroi stated to Billboard, "Knowing your background and where your family comes from is very important. Being able to carry that and be proud of your heritage is extremely important." A new generation of Australian rappers can now pursue international fame thanks to Laroi's success. With One Foreign Hooligan Hefts achieving success, the West Sydney hip-hop scene is gaining international recognition. Laroi has worked with a lot of people in that scene, and his mixtape features a lot of Australian producers. At that point when I was living in Australia, there was just a little gathering that was making music and rapping. In an interview with 1/4 of Vice, he stated, "Now I get sent a new kid every day in Australia who's making music, and it's crazy." Consequently, Kid Larroi has already made a significant impact on the global music scene, regardless of whether or not he continues to rise. His new cosigns show he's not even close to wrapped up. He was on Justin Bieber's most recent album, Justice, and it appears that he's working on a project with Halsey. In January, Elton John offered him one of the greatest praises possible, saying, "You will be perhaps of the greatest craftsmen in the entire world." So maybe it's safe to assume that Kid Larroi didn't intentionally try to dine and dash from that restaurant, seemingly with all the success he's had. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and that's all for today. Thank you for watching.